basketball player. And that's what you want out of a year 2 guy in Summer League. Summer League is kind of like Mad Max. You got a bunch of dudes desperately trying to make an impression to make a roster. You got some old vets, like Jabari Parker was supposed to be playing for the Bucks in this. He couldn't last minute. You got some vets just trying to make a name for themselves or trying to get back in the league. And then you have just a bunch of just randos. And there's no following out. So it can get nuts. But
hack away.
Right, yeah. But Beauchamp is standing out, and that's what you want. He looks like a polished professional player, which is what you want out of a guy who's a second-year player playing in the Mad Max Thunderdome.
Yeah.
So he looks like he is something to be excited about. I'm optimistic, if you will, Matt, actually about the Bucks overall.
Yeah.
Their offseason moves with adding Beasley from Minnesota, who was a guard from Florida State a few years ago, shoots the ball better, or as well as Grayson Allen. I think is a better overall basketball player. Maybe makes Grayson a little expendable. Marshawn Beauchamp blowing up. Allows them to limit minutes for Chris. You can play Pat Coddington and Chris Middleton a little bit less, play Beauchamp a little bit more. They brought back Bobby. They brought back Lopez. They just need a backup point guard, and they're going to be in good position here. So I'm optimistic about the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Brewers, I'm kind of just meh on at this point in the season. Like, I don't think they're a good baseball team, but I do think, like, if they were in any other division, no, not going to happen.
Right.
In this division, who knows?
Playoffs, baby.
Possibly you can win the division and get smoked in the first round. But the Green Bay Packers are a team that I don't really know exactly how you'd qualify me. I've never been an optimist. I don't enjoy it, even for my own teams. Because, and I know I just said I am for the Bucks, but like optimist in the fact that like I think they're going to have a good season. Not optimist like I think they're going to win the title. I don't like to set myself up for failure because winning a title, getting all the way to the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl, the World Series, is really damn hard. So for me, I just want to be able to enjoy the season for as long as possible. And I think the Bucks are going to have a better season next season than they did this last season.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that about the Green Bay Packers. And Alex Strofe, we're going to get to in a second here because he did State of the Packers with Jason Wilde and Gabe Neitzel. That was on ESPN Wisconsin live from Summerfest. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Matt, if the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush, the Coors Light.
We're live from the Everlight Solar Studio, and we're going to talk Packers today. Are you a realist? Are you a optimist? Or are you a pessimist? And Alex, this came about because the three of you ended up having a group therapy session.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually what it is for me. This is the second year I've done this show live from Summerfest. Last year was very therapeutic, right? Because I thought this was a Super Bowl team. Jason kind of talked me down, but I still had high hopes.
What were your hopes at the end of that show?
What were your hopes going into the show?
10-7 last year we're talking? 10-7 win the division playoff team.
Going into the show? Before talking to Wilde?
14-3, Super Bowl champs, third straight MVP for Rodgers.
Gotcha.
This year, I obviously knew going in, right? So many question marks, unproven talent, going to be a really wacky ride. None of us can really have a good feel on what this team will be. However, Wilde, unlike most people in the world, has a pretty good feel of what this team can be. And he is a realist, not a fan, as he always tells us. And he just made me feel like a pile of crap, pretty much. He's like, yeah, like 6-11 is what we're kicking around for a record, right? I think that's kind of the conclusion me, Gabe, and Jason came to on Saturday was 6-11 seems realistic if Love is competent. And that's the biggest question mark. And that's a horrible question mark. Is your quarterback competent? So that's what we kind of landed on, and that was. But it's a great show. You can find a Green and Gold Fix podcast on Wisconsin On Demand, wherever you get your podcast. 2 hours. We go over every position group and kind of have an at-large conversation of the Packers. Really fun show.
Well, the crazier part is when you talk about is your quarterback competent, and when you're talking about a young QB, does he look competent every game? Like he might look competent in some games, and they have a chance to win, and they still lose. And he might look like horse crap in other games and they get smoked and they lose those games. That's why I do feel like, for me, a realistic view of the Green Bay Packers season is that 6, maybe 7 wins. I would not bet on the Packers winning more games this season than they did last season.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that. I think that's a good realist view, especially considering I think the realist view, you got to go with Vegas. Whatever Vegas's line is, should be the realist view because they're the professionals, right? They're trying to look at it through unbiased eyes and set the fairest line. So I think, what does Vegas have the Packers at in the division right now? I think it's like 6.5 wins, maybe 7.
I think it's 7.5, yeah.
7.5 wins. I think that is a spot-on realist view. I think in a very optimistic world, say, things break right for the Packers the way they did for the Vikings, I think 10, 11 wins is possible. I think there's a handful of games that I just don't think the Packers are going to be able to win.
But to that point, and it's not like what happened with the Vikings. It's like an either-or thing. It doesn't mean you're going to lose all those games or win all those games. It doesn't happen every year. That's why it stood out with the Vikings that,
100%.
Yes, that could happen and they could win 10 games, but if you're running a simulation, that's maybe a 5% chance that happens because it is rare. That was the only time ever a team had won as many one-score games as the Minnesota Vikings did last year. To your point that it could happen.
I mean, the Packers the year before had 7, and I thought that was remarkable. That 2001 Packers season, I think the Packers had a handful of very close games, but the Packers had won all of those close ones, or had a very good record in those close ones.
Here are the current betting odds from FanDuel for the NFC North. Tied for last place, the over-under line is the Bears and the Packers, both 7.5 over-under wins this season. The Vikings take second in the division, 8.5 wins over-under.
Wow.
And the Lions had a
are
flat
the favorite.
9 over-under, flat 9.
Again, what did they win? 8 games last year, the Lions?
They won 9.
They
They won
They
9.
won 9. That's right. They won 9
Packers
games.
won 8.
They won 9 games last year. They finished strong, and they added some key free agents and added 2 first-round picks and, I believe, 2 second-round picks. So, it's not crazy to think that, yes, maybe they caught a little bit of lightning in the bottle, but they also got substantially better last year. And they kept their offensive coordinator, who was being brought in. A lot of teams wanted to hire him as a head coach. He turned down those jobs, or turned down the opportunity to interview for them. So that feels about right to me, honestly.
Yeah.
The FanDuel numbers feel about right to me. The Packers and Bears are peers now. One of them could take off. They both could be exactly where
I don't
they
think
are right now.
both of them cover or both of them. I think you're going to see an either or. You're going to see either the Packers are going to cover that spread and the Bears won't, or the Bears will cover the spread and the Packers
It could come down to the last game of the year as to who covers that spread.
I'm curious, what's your juice level at, each of you, for week number 1? It's obviously Bears-Packers in Chicago. It's a fun rivalry. And Jim, you just used the term more equals than maybe they have been in the last, 15 years?
Yeah.
30.
Is your juice level as a Bears fan higher than normal for that week 1 matchup?
Probably. I don't like Bears-Packers week 1. I don't like rival games week 1 just because, especially now, both these teams are still so different from they were last year, and it's going to be such a hodgepodge, and it's going to be hard to be a real, I would say, take a lot from it. For an example, what did the Bears play the Packers last year? Week 2?
Yeah, I think it was 2.
At Lambeau Field.
Yep.
Remember, the Bears took the Packers into the fourth quarter, and they had a touchdown called back for Fields that would have brought that game within 1 score. So the Bears, hung around a little bit, but the Bears are a 3-win football team. So they were closer in that game than they were talent-wise because the game was so early, in my opinion. So, some of these games, from where they play, I don't love that when they rival so early. I would love it
there's no film on anybody yet, so these early games are like the equalizer.
But they're also the most important games. So I'd rather see, Green Bay open up against, I don't know who's on their schedule this year, but open up against a team that's out of conference, Carolina.
Right.
You just open up against a team that, if you they had before, New Orleans.
Well, game 2 is against Atlanta. That would have been a great
flipped
start.
it,
Yeah.
even if you just flipped it to open up, even if you want Atlanta, New Orleans, and then Chicago, give it a little time for these teams to settle before you get into conference play.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of love it. I'm going to be honest with you. Because to your point, it just feels like more of an even matchup. And there's a lot of question marks with both of these teams, right? And I have no idea what the hell my expectations are for the Packers. I have a good idea of what they are for the Bears, right? I think they're somewhere between a 5 and 8 win team. For the Packers, they could legitimately be anywhere between 3 and 10. Probably closer to 3 than 10, but I don't know.
I think they're the same. I think that's your optimism coming out. Because if I wanted to sell myself, I could say, the Bears could get to 10.
Yeah,
they
right.
could, but there's probably a
could.
less than 20% chance that either one of these teams get to 10.
But
so that's why I say that they are similar teams.
We talked about it on Friday, Jimmy. You posted on Threads, the new social sensation.
Yeah.
and you said, my bold prediction is essentially Justin Fields will win an MVP before he retires.
Yeah.
Could that be this year?
No. But
maybe like. But if we were talking a year ago about Jalen Hurts, he took second place in MVP voting last year.
Yep.
I don't think any of us would have sat here and been like, yeah, he's the guy this year, right? And
Yeah,
Justin
he definitely
Fields,
wasn't a favorite.
Fields is, I hate admitting this out
no,
loud.
you can't do this to me.
I have to jinx it.
I'm
he has shown some flashes. He's got some weapons on that offense now. This could be a playoff team if everything goes right. And that's obviously saying a lot. Everything goes right.
Now, again, I maintain if Chicago or Green Bay becomes a playoff team this year, it's because the NFC North is the NL Central.
I love that comparison.
And they all could, I don't know if it mathematically work out, they all could win 9 games. You know, it's just going to be.
I feel
a division of 9 and 8.
I think this is the NFC North, NFC South from a year ago, which 8-9 the Bucks were, and they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
They won the division.
I agree. I honestly, Detroit's the one outlier. They're the one team, in my opinion, that really feels like they could be a truly double-digit win team, like in their realistic win. I understand your point on Minnesota. But
they're definitely on the decline.
Well,
I don't. It's
pulled
how
out-
much of a step back are they going to take? I mean, they obviously losing Cook
and Thielen.
And Thielen. Not that Za'Darius was big, but I don't think Za'Darius is in Minnesota anymore. Like, they definitely lost some players, and
I could see the Minnesota's the wildest team to me, Matt, because I could see Minnesota winning division or finishing dead last and winning like 5 games.
Yeah, they might. Strofe, you were talking about how like the Packers, their potential for what they final record could be. Minnesota might have the biggest spread of everybody in the North, just because
I agree.
I think they have the talent to be the best team, but they're the Vikings. They could be the worst team.
But you got it exactly right. But the way I view it, and we talked about this a little bit on Saturday, Wildy made a really good point on it. Is like it's like they're almost rebuilding after a 13-win season because they understand they weren't a 13-win good like level team, right? And you know, the way that they've let Za'Darius walk and Thielen walk, and now they might trade Danielle Hunter. It's just
Cook.
odd to me, right? Dalvin Cook they cut. It's very strange how they're operating after winning the division, having one of the best records in the entire league, and failing, obviously, in the playoffs. But for being a 13-win team a year ago, to make all these odd moves, I just don't know what they're doing.
What they're doing is trying to get it so they can try to reset as quick as possible.
Reset the books like at 24?
Because they're not sure what they're going to do with Kirk.
I think they're very sure what they're going to do with Kirk.
I think he's gone.
I think if they could have gotten out from this year, it's just too big of a contract. They would have. Like, I think they're resetting this thing. They're going to go in.
No, I certainly think they're resetting and trying to get a quarterback, but they're trying to get his contract figured out and then decide whether they're going to throw a rookie into the fire or give Kirk another 1-year deal.
I think the writing's on the wall. Now, Kirk could save his job this year, but I think remember this. Nobody in this front office picked him. It's not the quarterback for this offense, and so like
that's been the story of Kirk Cousins' kind of career, though, right?
Well, and Kirk Cousins won't be done. Someone else will happily take him,
right?
But I just think in Minnesota, the writing's probably on the wall there. A little bit like, look what happened with Tannehill. Will we plan? I mean, Tannehill. If you're in Tennessee and you follow that team, it's not surprising that they're probably going to either cut or just not play Tannehill and then move on from the following year. And he was the starter for basically all of last year, most of it. So. That's at times you just have these guys. Again, that's why I got to go back to this is the make or break year for Jordan Love, because if he's they're going to get someone who could replace him next year, and if they draft the guy to replace him, that guy already has the competitive advantage. This is a make or break year for Jordan Love. Maybe you should go to Carbon World Health. That way he can get in better shape, look like Justin Fields, because Justin Fields currently goes to the Carbon World Health. No. Here's the thing. If you have weight loss goals and you've been putting in the work and you've been trying to lose weight the traditional way, watching your calories and working out, that's great. But sometimes maybe you need a kickstart. And that's where semaglutide can come in. You can take semaglutide, the only FDA-approved weight loss treatment out there. It's simple. It's safe. Dr. Nestor Rodriguez can show you how it works and if it's right for you. And if you keep up working out and you keep up a good diet, you will lose weight. I've dropped over 25, nearly 30 pounds. My body fat percentage is down to 8.7. I did that on Friday. So go to Carbon World Health and start your weight loss journey. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, and we can prove it. Follow the show on Twitter at Jim and Matt.
Matt Hamilton here to tell you about my friends at Revive Restoration. Nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. Revive Restoration.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
In a land carved by glaciers and shaped by champions, Trapper's Turn is a specialty golfing experience. 27 holes designed by two-time U.S. Open champion Andy North present an enjoyable challenge at any level. Nestled between beautiful pines, the all-new 12 North Par 3 course offers the ultimate in golfing fun. Refuel and unwind with year-round dining in the heart of the picturesque Dells. Golf time is precious. Spend it somewhere beautiful. This is Trapper's Turn. Book your tee time at trappersturn.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
The 2023 season is underway and Fun for All is back with the Forward Madison FC Family Special on sale now. Bring the family to exciting professional soccer at Breeze Stevens Field. Enjoy a ticket, Pepsi product, sandwich, and a Forward Madison scarf for just $21. Forward Madison has fun for the whole family. Enjoy Lionella Vessi, the team's dairy cow, our new kids zone, and more at every Forward Madison match. For tickets, go to forwardmadisonfc.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Our Iron Jock poll question: do you think the Green Bay Packers will win more or less games than last year? And I guess, Matt, we're also having a discussion about realist versus pessimist, and where do you kind of fall on this? You get into the show, 844-770-3776. Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light, live from the Everlight Solar Studio. And Matt, I would say that I think all of us, well, you're probably the optimist of the group in general. I wouldn't say
in general
for the Green Bay Packers this year. I think for the Green Bay Packers this year, Alex Strofe is the optimist of the group. And I just try to do my best to be a realist. And I would like to point out, if anyone's listening, go, oh, Bears fan, whatever, I was the closest to the Green Bay Packers record last year in a realistic view. Just because and yes, I was off on the Bears. I thought they'd win 5 games. They won 3. So Again, I had them in the right tier. And when they were not going to be a good football team. Yes. And I think Packer fans going into this year looking for more of the idea of what can we get out, what can we find morsels of to be excited for going forward? Because Romeo Doubs show some more flashes and develop, even if it's not statistically. Can Christian Watson, even if it doesn't match the touchdown total, can he look like a more complete receiver this year? Can Musgrave and Kraft look like ascending players? And I think these all can be true, but I think it's also really hard to win a football game in the NFL, especially when you don't have Aaron Charles Rodgers, Matt Hamilton. So I wanted to look into this, but let's hear from the Jason Wilde, the State of the Union from Saturday, and I want to hear first State of the Packers, the realist versus optimistic take from Jason Wilde.
Let me just say this. I think I am a realist.
Oh,
I do not
100%.
think I am a pessimist.
For sure. No.
And I think there is an incredible amount of optimism that is based solely, the definition of faith is belief in things unseen. And, yes, you got 9 passes from Jordan Love. You also got the Kansas City performance that in Matt Steinman's story in The Athletic, Goody basically dismissed as poorly coached, poorly planned game. You also got the second half in Detroit of the season finale a couple years ago. And if we're being honest, Jordan Love has not given us enough to have the level of optimism that a certain portion of the fan base has. But God bless them. Go ahead and be optimistic. I just want to be clear. I'm not a pessimist here. I think they're going to be really good in 2024. I think they're going to struggle in 2023.
And I think that's a realistic look at it, and that's assuming that Jordan Love is a good, at least a capable NFL quarterback. Because if he's not, then you're going to struggle even worse in 2024. But I think realistically, let's just take it, let's just shoot down the middle for Love. There has not been massive flashes. There has not been the scolding buzz around Jordan Love as there was around Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love was not the prospect coming out of college that Aaron Rodgers was. These are not apples-to-apples comparisons. Realistically, more often than not, even first-round quarterbacks are going to bust out and be good.
Right.
And so if he's average, he's already been more productive than most NFL first-round quarterbacks. And to that point, and this is the part that reminds me the most of the Bears, in this part, the Green Bay Packers, in my opinion, have done Jordan Love a disservice as far as his ability to grow as a pass catcher. And Wilde had something to say. He didn't say this part of it, but he did point out that Favre had Sterling Sharp and Aaron Rodgers had Donald Driver.
Brett had Sterling. Aaron had Donald. We don't have that guy this year. And I think that's huge for the development of Jordan Love as well, because these guys are also developing. So if they end up being in the wrong spots, that's going to affect Jordan Love's development as well.
Right.
Not having absolutely zero veteran pass catchers, somebody who's not on a rookie contract on the roster.
So Wilde has thrown his voice, apparently, to sound like Gabe Neitzel.
Yeah.
What is going on?
That's on me, guys. I'll be honest with you. I didn't cut this audio. It was just in the system
Didn't
already.
bother to listen to it either?
It says, now I remember this conversation. I remember
you
Gabe
were on
saying
the show.
I remember Gabe saying
buck,
it. But
just passing the buck.
I just figured that Wilde may have reiterated it, and that's why it was cut. It says right next to me, Brett, Sterling, Aaron, Donald, Wilde is what it says. Those are the 5 words in the cut. So sorry about that.
Well, I did hear Wilde at the very end of it, so I guess
it kind of counts, right?
In order there. Well, before we get to the last cut, let's confirm maybe off air who is speaking in the last one. But Matt, what do you take of that? Where I guess I'm saying that Jordan Love is being done a disservice because I don't know why the Packers are waiting on this, or at least they could have done something more. Because Jalen Hurts, we talked about the big jump he made. Why did he make that big jump? He got a little better, but he also got A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Josh Allen made a big jump.
Stephon Diggs.
What do the Bears do this year with Justin Fields when they're hoping he makes a big jump?
I mean,
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. With that first-round trade. First pick overall trade.
So most teams, when they have, and let's not forget, Jordan Love is further along in his career than any of those guys were at this point.
Right.
So I think the clock is already ticking on Jordan Love because you got to start paying him quickly. You have to know immediately. Like, you can't dink around with Jordan Love and try to have him develop a little slower because you don't have that kind of time with his contract. Because if he's good this year, you're just going to have to pay him next year. Like, you think if Jordan Love, let's say he goes and balls out, he's going to say immediately, pay me or I'm not showing up on his contract, because it's a really bad contract for a really good quarterback next year.
I mean,
and they will pay him happily because
yeah, they will.
But that means that all of a sudden they have to pay him. But then again, that's still only 1 year's worth.
Approach.
I don't like the approach if I'm a Packers fan.
This approach, again, not apples to oranges, so I don't want you to jump down my throat here. But there is a similar situation for a very elite football team that has very young wide receivers and a young quarterback. If you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, they had T. Higgins, which was young, wasn't really necessarily a veteran by the time that Joe Burrow got there, I think a year later.
No, same year.
Same year. And then Jamar Chase, obviously a teammate of Joe Burrow, so they had a little built-in chemistry. There is something to be said about going in, and these guys are going to have to learn it together. There's not going to be necessarily this Jedi Master Padawan kind of thing going on. It's going to be two guys or three guys in this case with Dobbs and Love, going through this playbook and trying to learn together and hopefully going over tape and saying, this was my mistake here. I wasn't where I needed to be, or you didn't put the ball where it needed to be. There's going to be some growth together. And if they can kind of go in and really be equals and think of each other as equals and grow together, kind of the way that I feel Joe Burrow did with these guys that were drafted with him, amongst him and his peers, he might be able to develop into a decent quarterback. Just because veterans are around in a lot of different teams, that's just because players are still going to be good and there's always new players coming in. I don't think there's a hard truth that you need a veteran to be good. There is definitely knowledge that can be imparted, but I think the Packers see this as an opportunity for their wide receiving core to grow with their quarterback as opposed to one being the mentor for the other.
Okay, but that's just all right. Let's just go through it. Joe Burrow, number 1 overall pick, right? Let me.
I
You
asked
said
you
your
not
piece.
to jump down my
No, I'm
throat,
not.
and I said it's not apples to oranges.
It's not. It's apples to vegetables. You said your piece. Now I'm just going to point it. I'm just going to read. I'm just going to contradict it a little bit. Joe Burrow, number 1 overall pick, one of the top QB prospects in all of football the last few years.
Totally.
Okay, so worth pointing out, T. Higgins. His first year, so when they won the Super Bowl the following year, but his first year he caught 67 passes. Jamar Chase, though, 5th overall pick. Christian Watson, not 5th overall pick.
Not 5th overall.
Already 25 years old. Romeo Dobbs, not 5th overall pick. Was he 5th round? And then also, that team had A.J. Green, you know him.
Yeah.
And they had Drew Sample at tight end who caught 40 passes. So they also had Tyler Boyd, who caught 79 passes, a proven professional wide receiver.
So I mean,
that's why
like
it's not. So to your point, they didn't have. But wait, it's not close. They didn't have A.J. Brown and Stephon Diggs, but they had exponentially far more proven pass catchers. Those are all Joe Burrow's rookie year. That's 2020. That's his rookie year. Let alone. But again, the point being, they allowed Joe and those guys to grow together because Joe had the contract to be able to grow with that. They don't have that with Jordan. They have to. They have to figure it out. When they start paying Jordan, they can't pay wide receivers then. That's where it gets really hard. That's what happened with Aaron and Devontae.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting because the Packers, right now, the bottom for your mid to just above mid-level quarterback, I'm looking at Daniel Jones at $43 million a year.
And that's a good comp because I don't really know.
But that's what you got to hope. If Jordan Love doesn't turn out to be that, we're moving forward. At some point, if we're going to have to pay a quarterback a second contract, the bottom is going to be $45 million a year.
I'm asking this because it just surprised the hell out of me. Do you know Daniel Jones? Now, again, Packer fans don't like to count rushing touchdowns conveniently or rushing yards conveniently, but Daniel Jones is a passer last year. And this surprised me, so I'm not trying to get you. Do you know what his numbers were?
I think he had an awesome season. It was prove-it years to get this contract. I probably had at least, I would say at minimum 38 to 4,000 yards.
3,205 yards, 15 touchdowns.
That's not. What are the rushing in?
Well, again, no, Packer fans don't like to count rushing stats.
I'm asking about
No, Packer fans don't want to count rushing stats. Rushing quarterbacks don't matter. You can't count the stats.
If Jordan Love wants to rush and he scores a touchdown,
you can't count your stats.
Him.
No, when we talk quarterbacks,
I can cherry pick what I want, Jim.
When we talk Packer fans with quarterbacks, running stats don't matter. You don't understand
until Packer quarterbacks run. But when they do run, that's when I'm going to start counting them.
Nope, they don't count. They don't count. What? They don't count.
It's time to be mature.
Yeah, I'm going to move the goalposts. I move goalposts.
But it's more of like
you're both allowed to do it, Jim. You're both allowed to move goalposts.
But I would like to point out, that's not great. Again, just the world that you're living in as a Packer fan now.
Honestly,
that money,
15 touchdowns and 3,200 yards.
15 touchdowns.
That honestly sounds pretty darn close to what you might be looking at with Jordan Love this year, because you're going to be pounding the rock with your running backs because you have them. And those are the proven parts of your offense.
If we are going to count rushing stats, if you want to be one of those,
let's pretend we are for fun.
All right, 708 yards rushing, and then 7 touchdowns.
So at 22 total. No, this was Daniel Jones. He's what I'm thinking.
Is way better than that.
Daniel Jones is what I'm hoping. Like, if he got a contract like that, is that good enough for Packer fans? Like, if Jordan Love turned out to be a Daniel Jones, are we thrilled?
So, Matt, what are the most brilliant things you've ever said on this program? Which is not many things, but one of the most brilliant.
Short list.
Really short list.
Was last year, I think it was about November. You said the worst case scenario for the Packers the rest of the year is to get hot, we don't see Jordan Love, and we miss the playoffs by a game, which is exactly what happened.
Right.
You Nostradamus it. Nostra Hamilton. And the worst case scenario this year is, or next year in that case, is Jordan Love is just fine or good, but not good enough. Like Daniel Jones was a year ago for the Giants.
Daniel Jones is your worst case scenario.
1,000,000%.
Right, because he'll command a contract, but you know he's not good enough to get it done. No, I that's what I'm saying. I totally agree with that. But you got to think next year, if Jordan Love has Daniel Jones' season last year, it's probably going to require a contract. 22 all-purpose touchdowns and 40, what was it, 4,100 yards in total between the rushing and passing?
Just under 4. He was at 32 and then 700.
700, yeah. So, I mean, honestly, those numbers, though, for the Packers, especially the scheme we're going to have with all the running, that's probably realistic numbers for, as a realist, as me doing the realist show today.
Yeah.
I think that's like you'd be pretty happy as a Packer fan.
Do you know, but like, those numbers are running the football for Daniel Jones are pretty elite. And I don't know what kind of runner Jordan Love is, but
he's mobile. He's not that mobile.
Justin Fields kind of skewed it with what he did. Like, running for 700 yards is really good for a quarterback. Yeah.
And Daniel Jones kind of runs like Josh Allen. Like, will put his head down and run someone over. He's not necessarily like a Deke, the guy. He's not Lamar Jackson out there.
If we are counting rushing touchdowns, then Justin Fields had more than Daniel Jones.
What does Deke, the guy, mean?
Juke.
Deke?
Deke is a term for you. Yeah.
You've never heard
Triple Deke?
It's more of a hockey term, I think.
Yeah, but Deke still works. Triple Deke.
Have you ever watched the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah, Mighty Ducks. You got to give him the whole Triple Deke.
Oh, my gosh. He's such a child.
But a quick side note. You played some hockey.
Yeah.
Triple Deke doesn't really seem like it would work. It's done very slow. It's not.
Okay, that movie was super slow. Like, pros do the triple D, like maybe not triple, but they do some sort of like deke all the time. It's literally just moving your puck left to right.
Yeah, but this kid's like,
in the movie, it's
hard to the
so
left,
slow.
hard to the right, hard to the left.
You get Alex.
Even if you did it in fast motion, like obviously they slow it down, but still you're like, I got it, guy. I think I got this code cracked.
It would work.
Why what you don't know what deacon is?
Well, Deacon doesn't sound dirty.
That sounds dirtier than Triple Deke.
Hey now.
Matt, I know that when you're out there deacon, you like to wear your Iron Jock gear.
Absolutely. That's because Iron Jock is Wisconsin's finest apparel company. It's made from the inside out Like all of their wonderful products, it's made with the state-of-the-art silver ion technology that's guaranteed to keep you feeling fresh and provide odor-fighting protection for as long as you own the garment. They provide the highest quality fabrics and construction designed for an active, comfortable fit. It's great for golfing. It's great for working out. It's good for just chilling out and doing a radio show with your buds. Whatever situation you might be in, Iron Jock is the apparel for you. You can visit ironjock.com to get your Iron Jock apparel today.
I got a code for you.
You come up with the code. That's ironjoc.com, and you can use code.
You can buy 2, get 1 free. You use the code SST-shirts. So buy 2, get 1 free with the code SST-shirts. Again, ironjock.com. This is Rutledge and Hamilton.
I was just for the code, sorry.
Presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Miss any of the show? Find full show podcasts free on Wisconsin On Demand and wherever you get your podcasts.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Metro Kia of Madison is Madison's trusted Kia dealership, and they are home of the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. If you're looking to purchase, finance, or service your vehicle, Metro Kia of Madison is the place to go. As always, at Metro Kia of Madison, you can enjoy 2 years of no-charge maintenance on any new vehicle. Browse their inventory and find this month's special at MetroKiaofMadison.com. That's MetroKiaofMadison.com. Find your new vehicle at your trusted Kia dealership today.
At Starion Bank, they pride themselves on being a super community bank. Small enough to show they care about you and the communities they serve, while being large enough to make big things happen. With 3 Madison area branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona, Starion Bank is here investing in your community while offering valuable personal and business banking services. Start your experience with Starion Bank today by going to starionbank.com. Member FDIC.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
When you struggle with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, you get used to not feeling 100%. I thought that was how it had to be. Until I discovered the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. They told me about new medications that weren't around back when I was diagnosed. They helped me find a specialist who gave me a new treatment plan. I'm feeling better than I ever thought I could. Don't settle for not feeling your best. Take action today to take care of yourself. Spill your guts. Learn more at spillyourguts.org.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Carbon World Health.
Brett had Sterling. Aaron had Donald. We don't have that guy this year. To hell, and I think that's huge for the development of Jordan Love as well, because these guys are also developing. So if they end up being in the wrong spots, that's going to affect Jordan Love's development as well.
Right.
Not having absolutely zero veteran pass catchers, somebody who's not on a rookie contract on the roster.
Gabe Neitzel there speaking truth. You guys probably more willing to listen to him since he's a Packer fan as well. But again,
he's awesome.
He is awesome.
Really good at golf.
Super
really
good at golf, which is super cool.
Sure. But the thing is, I saw this last year. And again, it goes back to, and I know you used the outlier with the Bengals, but that situation still wasn't true because they still had Taj Boyd and A.J. Green and Sample, a proven tight end. So they had guys who knew.
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd.
Taj Boyd was that quarterback at Clemson.
Sorry, yeah, Tyler Boyd.
What happened to him? Taj
played
Boyd.
for the Bengals, wide receiver. That's what happened to him.
Changed his first name, too.
Yeah. So, but they had proven pass catchers and more than what the Packers have currently. Like, as much as we like what Watson did, he's never going to be. And you guys,
it was a 6-game stretch, 7-game stretch where he was like,
and it wasn't in
you're
a row.
Great wide receiver.
I wouldn't say
it was
stretch.
Like
it was
5 games in a row.
It was like maybe 4 or 5, and then there was 1 or 2 games off. Then he had another great one.
Right.
He had a really good second half of the season, but he's also, I don't think he's ever going to be Devontae or even Donald Driver as far as the route running precision. Like he seems like an explosive player that is going to be really good and a great value pick at a second-round pick, but he's also 25 years old with a body that can get dinged. So I don't know if he's going to project to be, and again, this is not knocking him. Devontae Adams is maybe still the best wide receiver in all of football. Right. And so.
But that said, Jim, I had not high hopes at all for Devontae, especially given his injury history. I thought his first couple years, it looked like he was kind of had the drops. So, like, I don't want to go out and make that judgment on Christian Watson because I was so
But
wrong
I'm not saying
on
he won't
Devontae.
be good. I'm saying that they're a different type of player.
Devontae
Jim,
Adams I didn't even think Devontae was going to be, like, good.
Okay.
He turned out to be maybe the best wide receiver in football.
That's fine, but Devontae Adams is still only 30, and Christian Watson's 25. So when you thought Christian Watson, you remember a while back you thought Christian Watson was younger than he was? Like, Devontae Adams was a young man developing in the NFL and learning how to be all those things. Christian Watson is a fully developed man at 25 in the NFL. So my point being, they're only 5 years apart in age, and you'd think it's much larger because Devontae was
been around longer. Right?
Yes, so it's more the type of player. Christian Watson could still be a very dynamic and Pro Bowl caliber receiver, but being the precise route runner, his body style doesn't even really lend itself to that. That's my point. Like, he's a big, tall wide receiver. They're not usually the most precise route running guys, but he is an explosive guy that can make massive plays for the Packers and be a great difference maker. So I'm not saying that he couldn't be a Pro Bowl caliber guy, but that's still not the security blanket at times, maybe, that Donald Driver was for Aaron Rodgers, or that obviously
100%.
Sterling Sharp. And that's what I'm getting at, that the Packers didn't do that for.
He still might end up being a security blanket as far as, like, a guy who might be targeted, whether they're warranted throws or not. Like, I'm not sure who Jordan Love's going to is going to end up developing a relationship with, but it feels like most quarterbacks end up
Romeo Doubs is who I'd bet on it.
kind of like have a guy. So you think it's Romeo Doubs?
I think the way they're going to use Watson isn't going to be set up to be a security blanket, because a security blanket.
I see him being used kind of like a Mike Williams,
but also
kind of like burn him up the field, try and get the ball at the high point, be the big guy that you are, Christian Watson, and the fast guy that you are.
Who do you think, like, for an example, Kirk Cousins, I would say his security blanket is stealing. His home run threat is Jefferson.
Actually, last year, I think he kind of shifted. I would say that Hawkinson ended up being his security blanket last year, and then Thielen prior to that.
So in this world, I don't know if Watson has a Jefferson ceiling, but he's more of a Jefferson type receiver. And Dobbs, I think, would be more, if we're trying to make the comp to a team we've seen a lot of, Minnesota. I think, honestly, I would bet on, like, Musgraves, the rookie tight end. Again, this is why there's just rookies everywhere. I
think Jones is going to have the most receptions.
Right. So, like, this is where you're doing your quarterback a disservice. To what Gabe Neitzel said on the State of the Packers, we just heard the cut there, and I've seen this. I saw this in Chicago. You saw this in Chicago. Jerry Alexander picked off Justin Fields because St. Brown didn't run his route proper. He didn't break it fast enough, and he didn't block off his receiver like you're supposed to in that route.
Right.
Simple things. St. Brown's been in the league for a long time, and he still didn't run the route that he's supposed to run. He didn't break it at the right time, and he didn't box out the corner like he's supposed to, and that led to a pick. And so those are the things that are going to happen to Jordan Love this year with some of these guys. Just because they're learning, they're not going to be perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
And that includes Watson, and that includes Dobbs. And that's where, again, a security blanket, I just think the Packers put Jordan Love in a really tough position.
It's going to be really tough.
If I was going to be a conspiracy theorist, I'd say they're fine if Jordan Love fails.
Fails in the same sense that, like, Rodgers failed in year one where he played well, but they had a bad record.
Fails
as in he's bad. The Packers were bad.
And I don't think he's going to be terrible, but fails like he looks like Daniel Jones without the running.
Like we're not going to give fails as in he's 8 earning a second contract, another one.
Well, I guess a third contract. Is
Third,
this kind of the new contract, Al? How would you count that with the restructure? Is it a second contract
with Love?
Yeah.
It's like a hedge, right? So he's only making $5 million this year, and then he'll make I think it's 20 next year. But it's not,
which is still a bargain.
Yeah, it's a steal.
For a quarterback.
It's a steal if he's good. If he's not,
so
find a way to change that.
I mean, it's a steal if he's average, considering Daniel Jones is commanding 45.
Correct.
Right.
Well, I guess that's what So I would say that if he's Daniel Jones with less running, that's a failure for the pick.
It's tough because Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones a failure? It's tough to call him a failure if they re-signed him.
Without the running.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just 15
maybe. Touchdowns, 5 interceptions for $40 million ain't it?
No, for $40 million ain't it. You're right.
So that's what I'm saying, that I think that if he looks like that, I don't know if they're going to be upset. They might just move on. Remember, Caleb Williams is sitting out there. Not the Packers are doing this, but he is being called the next can't-miss quarterback.
It's like, yeah. I mean,
do you think in the
Packers
back of his mind somewhere it's like, look, if Jordan Love stinks and just falls apart, whatever, we could end up with Caleb Williams.
Do we put
that would be a guy you could be optimistic about.
Sean Clifford? Start Sean Clifford?
Sean Clifford is being called by some, I think Homer called him this, the worst backup quarterback maybe in the last 20 years in the NFL.
Yeah, but that would ensure Caleb Williams.
Right, if Jordan Love gets hurt.
Yeah.
You can't just bench. I mean, good God, you can't just bench.
Carson Wentz is a Packer before Sean Clifford sees meaningful snaps.
Do you think that's what's going to happen? Do you think they bring in a veteran before?
No, I don't think they do unless Jordan Love, worst case scenario, God forbid I'm putting this into the ether. But
don't. We all know what you're going to say.
If he misses, let's say 4 weeks, there's no way they're throwing Clifford out there for 4 weeks. Unless they're 2-8.
Here's the thing. If they do it, if they do throw him out there. I don't think it's that bad of a play. You're looking towards the future.
He's not the future.
Not Clifford isn't, but Williams might be. If the future is being bad enough to have the first overall pick.
If they're 2-8 and Love goes down with a fractured thumb, like Rodgers did a year ago, and he actually misses time, significant time, right? Let's say it's, I don't know, whatever it is.
It makes sense.
4 weeks. And they're 2-8, sure, I'm fine with Clifford. But if they're 6-3, and you're in a position to still very much win the division and make the playoffs, you're not throwing Sean Clifford out there. I just don't know how you find that reasonable.
All right, and just clarifying.
It's only reasonable if you can have enough
it's
to
one
get
of these
to the
things
first pick overall.
Where you say it like this, in my heart of hearts, I'm thrilled the Bears were 1-7 in one-score games last year. Because that's
worked out great for you guys.
That's how they got the first overall pick. Also,
they
shout
got
out
DJ
to
Moore.
Love you, Smith, there with that. Well, also, let's not forget, and I don't know what Bryce Young's going to be, my optimism comes to the fact that they have Carolina's first-round pick next year, too. So, Jordan Love will have basically $10 million in yearly cash this year, and then $6 million in yearly cash next year. Cap hit of $4 million this year and $7.5 next year, with a dead cap number that's pretty massive for both. So that's according to SportTrack.com. So I have those numbers in front of me. He gets a workout bonus next year of $500,000 for showing up. That sounds like winning, and that's what winners do. They go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, over $10 million jackpots in July alone at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. So I don't know what you're waiting for, June. Go be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. It is July, and they're already over a couple $1 million in winners in July. Go be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, and we can prove it. Follow the show on Twitter at Jim and Matt. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. Following Wisconsin football missing out on the state's top 5 recruits for the class of 2024, Jake Kokorowski of Badger Extra and the Wisconsin State Journal joined Rutledge and Hamilton on ESPN Madison and talked about the Wisconsin football staff's relationship with the 2025 in-state recruits.
They are making strides to bring in, to try to build up relationships within the state. Give it more time to cultivate.
Find the full conversation with Jake Kokorowski on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts.
Pella's window and door design options are virtually limitless. Customize your order by August 31st, and you could bundle and save big at PellaWI.com.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
The Club at Lac La Belle is the birthplace of golf in Wisconsin, with a rich history you will feel once you arrive. Experience a round at the Club at Lac La Belle. The redesigned course is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time today at clubatlaclabelle.com. This is a golf destination that you will want to play over and over again, and enjoy fine dining and event space after your round. An historic past meets a vibrant future. Go to clubatlaclabelle.com to start your journey.
Working at a company that truly cares and invests in their employees should never be taken for granted. Work, learn, and earn at the Weld School at Stoughton Trailers. The program includes 1 week of paid training starting at $18 per hour and features small class sizes designed for individual attention. No prior experience is needed because teaching their employees is all part of the Stoughton Trailers way. Graduate into a full-time position in Stoughton or Evansville. Apply today at stojobs.com. That's stojobs.com.
You wanted lower prices? Fleet Farm's got them. Like KT Nut and Fruit Blend, now only $32.99 for a 20-pound bag. Or how about $3.49 a quart for Resolute Conventional or Synthetic Blend Motor Oil? Also, Resolute Classic Green Antifreeze is now just $10.99 a gallon. And control summer weeds with Gordon's Amine 240 Weed Killer. 2.5 gallons, now only $69.99. Look for new lower prices on everything you need for everyday life with price drops at Fleet Farm.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Sometimes it's okay to think you know, but when it comes to the right car seat for your child's age and size, don't just think. No. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
I'm not having any fun.
Talking optimism, realism, and pessimism here on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton. Alex Strofe behind the glass, live from the Everlight Solar Studio. You can chime in on our Iron Jock poll question, 844-770-3776. Do you believe the Packers will win more or less games than last year? It is a dead heat here. 51% of you say less, which means 49% of you say more.
That means 49% of you are optimists, and the rest are either realists or pessimists.
I would say it depends on your number.
Yeah, it depends on your number, but that's realist or pessimist, right?
Absolutely.
8-win team, I think, is even bordering on optimism.
Okay, what is, and this is kind of a loaded question here, what do you think a optimistic look at this offense? You don't have to give me stats and stuff, but like just in general, what's clicking for this offense in an optimistic view? Like ceiling for this offense this year. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't be what Aaron Rodgers did, but like for Jordan Love and this young group, what's the optimistic view of what they could do?
I think as far as just a record goes, I think like 9 wins, having more wins than losses is an optimistic view. You've got.
I want the offense. Not forget wins and losses. I want to know the offense specifically, like some, whether it's the young, Jordan Love getting a good touchdown
Mm-hmm.
reception ratio, high completion percentage, big season from Aaron Jones. Like forget wins and losses. Just in general, like what are you watching for on the offense? Because
I would love to see Jordan Love spread the ball around.
Okay,
like we have 3-4 pass catchers and wide receiver that are all young that need to get reps. It would be great if like Dobbs and Watson ended up being like his main guys, but we want to see some of these younger guys get thrown into the game too. I want to see these tight ends get involved. I think A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are going to need to run amok. They're going to, like, the whole success of Jordan Love, I think, is going to be based on defenses having to play loaded boxes, preparing for a run most plays. Like, that's what I think is going to set up the Packers the most for success. So if the offensive line is humming and moving guys around and our running game is chunking yards away, 4 or 5 yards a carry, that's going to load that box and hopefully open up some one-on-ones for Jordan Love to play. So like that's where I think it's going to start. But then you're going to need good ball movement and spreading the ball because these guys are young. They're not going to be able to get open. So if Jordan Love can get through his progressions and get to that second, third receiver in his progression, we're going to see Jordan Love actually running the offense the way it should be played, and 2, you're going to hopefully see all these receivers getting a touch of the ball and improving and working on in-game situations.
So basically, a optimistic view for you for this offense is that run game clicks, takes all the pressure off Jordan Love. He doesn't have to make any big throws in the game. Make easy throws, keeping the defense on their heels, allowing the young guys to make plays when they're available, and the offense is just balanced, maybe a little run heavy. And it's an offense that, as long as you're in a game or close, you can play. If you get down, you're kind of screwed. And I know that offense. And so, what about a realistic view of that offense?
The realistic view is that defenses are going to know that we're going to try and run the ball. So running's going to be tough. I still think they're going to load the box and make it tough for them, and they're going to say, you're going to have to beat us with Jordan Love. And these wide receivers who, for all intents and purposes, don't know where they're running. Like, they're not veterans. They're still learning the playbook. They are going to make mistakes. Like, to count on them, even one of the 3 or 4 guys who are going out for a pass to be in the right spot at the right time during an offensive play, it's not something you can absolutely bank on. So Jordan Love he's going to have to be smart with the football. And he's probably going to have to eat a couple sacks. We're probably going to see him throwing the ball away more often than not. And that's like the realistic view. I think that defenses are going to say, you know what? We know that your strength is your running game. We know your best players are your running backs. Beat us with your quarterback and beat us with your young wide receivers and tight ends.
I think that is a pretty fair look at it. That honestly, I think realistically, they're going to have some games where it all clicks, and then some games they're going to get behind, and then they're screwed.
And I think, like you said, there's going to be games where teams are going to take that stance, like we're going to stop the run, beat us with the pass, and Jordan Love's going to do it. But there's going to be games where he struggles.
I think the bigger issue will be, I don't think the defense is going to be good enough to be put on the field over and over again. So what's going to happen is by like middle of the third quarter, teams start putting it like we're up 13, and now the Packers are cooked, because they can't go out and make up 13 points. So I think in a lot of these games, they might be in it to the start, or maybe it's start of the fourth quarter, and a field goal's kicked, and they're going from down 10 to down 13.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers, that's nothing.
Right.
Jordan Love, it's probably another loss. It doesn't even mean he's bad. It just means that, like, this year, that ain't happening.
So and to that point, I don't think it's necessarily going to be about getting the ball in the end zone as much for the Packers. Obviously, that's how you score. That's how you win. the Packers, to give themselves the best chance of winning, they're going to need to chunk some yards, get some first downs, decent time of possession. I think time of possession is going to be a big deal for the Packers this year. If they can keep that defense off the field so when they are on the field, they're fresh, you might be able to get away with some lower scoring games with this offense that might sputter at times.
Absolutely, and if they do sputter, we know what Alex Strofe will be doing.
Yeah, I'll be drinking. I mean, that's the matter of the fact, and I'll be drinking only the best from my friends at Door County Distillery, locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits. Today, National Pina Colada Day, so we celebrated by filming Sippin' with Strofe, Episode 3, Part 2, which is the Carlsville Colada. Door County Distillery's spin on it. You can find that recipe and all their craft cocktail recipes for free on their website, doorcountydistillery.com. You can also find all their great booze, whether it's the gin, whether it's the bourbon, any kind of their whiskey. They've got vodka. They've got the rum that you mix in that Carlsville Colada, all sorts of stuff, and it's available right here in your backyard. Just go to doorcountydistillery.com to find the retailer nearest you. That's doorcountydistillery.com. More Rutledge and Hamilton right after this on ESPN Madison.
Olson Toon has been customizing both residential and commercial outdoor living spaces since 1997. Matt Hamilton here from ESPN Madison. For over 50 years of combined experience in their management and design teams, Olson Toon has become one of Wisconsin's premier building and landscaping outdoor living firms. Landscaping and maintenance, irrigation, concrete work, pools, and more. If you have an outdoor living need, Olson Toon is here to help. Go to olsontoon.com to get started on your home project today. That's olsontoon.com.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Yeah, it is. And I'm Alex Strofe. Your Sports Center update brought to you by Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America. The WeatherTech International Challenge with Brian Redmond descends on Road America, July 13th through the 16th. Get your tickets today and check out the full season schedule on their website, roadamerica.com. Well, we have reached the break in Major League Baseball with the Home Run Derby kicking off the All-Star Week activities tonight. And the Milwaukee Brewers just one game back of the Cincinnati Reds in the NL Central. Thanks to a 1-0 win yesterday at AmFam Field. Big thanks to Wade Miley, who had a great outing on the mound for the Crew. So the Brewers just a game back of the Reds headed into the break. And as I mentioned, the Home Run Derby kicks off the activities tonight, 7 p.m. You can hear the Home Run Derby right here on 100.5 ESPN immediately following the Great Dane Huddle with Chris Orr, who's making some waves on Twitter right now with his recruiting takes on the Badgers. You can find that take and all the reaction over on Twitter at ESPN Madison. Summer League action, the Bucks 2-0 on the Summer League. They're back in action tomorrow against the Nets, a 5 o'clock tip, and you can watch that on ESPNU. Rutledge and Hamilton continues now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
You got the chill.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and Matt Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is ridiculous, first of all. Upgrade the out-of-state recruiting. Honestly, if I went year from year from just my time here, and the best player on our team outside of 1 year, outside of our 2016 year, where TJ Watt was the best
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio. With Matt Hamilton, here's Jim Rutledge.
I'll tell you, our best producer is not from the state of Wisconsin.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be you, I'll tell you that. This is Rutledge and Hamilton presented by...
Hold on a minute. Who is the best producer? They're all from Wisconsin.
Well, Molly Brown spent time in Iowa and in Arizona.
She doesn't produce anymore.
She's America's favorite producer, though. She
still has that title.
Yeah, she moved on. She did produce. I didn't say current producers.
Yeah.
Well, actually...
Fair point.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, this is Rutledge and Hamilton. We are live from the Everlight Solar Studio. We're presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
So I'm going to switch off the Packers conversation here because the Badger talk, Matt, on Friday got spicy.
Huh.
Because former Wisconsin State Journal columnist Tom Oates was I would say, concerned that maybe Wisconsin didn't have a great recruiting class so far for 2024 regarding in-state recruits.
Right.
It is being viewed very highly overall as a recruiting class. And if you're in Illinois, you're freaking out because the Badgers took 2 out of your top 10 players out of that class. If you're the state of Pennsylvania, you're freaking out because the Badgers took 2 out of the top 10 players in that class. If you're Minnesota, you're freaking out because the Badgers took the best player out of your state. And you can conversely say Wisconsin lost the best player of their state. Worth noting, that kid, and there's nothing against the kid, is from California, has been in the state 2 years. There's not these big ties to it. And
he didn't grow up watching Badger football.
Right, and Fickle, I believe, I don't think Chris was in much on him. Fickle got in late. The kid's dad even said, these guys crushed it. He just already had a relationship with with PJ Fleck, and so he's just going to honor that, which is not too out of bounds there. So we did ask the question. You can chime in 844-770-3776. Are you worried about the Badgers in-state recruiting? Because we also talked to Tarek Saleh, all-time leader in sacks, UW history, and he said that, talking to high school coaches in the area, and Tarek is plugged in with them, he said that the Badger coach staff is doing exactly what they said they're doing. They are at these schools. They are recruiting these kids. They're not ignoring the in-state kids. It was just one bad recruiting cycle as far as the in-state kids, but they've been able to supplement that.
And I feel like, and again, I don't know how much can be chalked up to this, but this last year for the Badgers was so tumultuous going through. You lost a coach. You had an interim head coach that a lot of people kind of had the feeling was going to be the next guy. And then when you brought a new guy in Luke Fickle, he had less time than most of these coaches do to recruit. Or if Paul Chris had some commitments, Luke Fickle's got to make sure that these kids are still committed, even though their coach, the guy who brought them in, isn't going to be there. This was something that we all should have seen coming for year one of a coach who's coming in late to assist to a new state. The guy doesn't have any foothold here yet. So I don't think if this was year 3 or 4 of Luke Fickle, I would say, yeah, there's plenty of reason to hit the panic button. But year 1, when the guy had no footing in the state and no ability to start recruiting until halfway through the fall last year, or even later, you got to give the guy a little bit of time to get his feet wet. Let him establish himself in the state. Let them spread those Fickle roots all the way across Wisconsin.
I agree with you, because you know what Luke Fickle did at Ohio State? He recruited the state of Ohio. At Cincinnati, he recruited the state of Ohio. But he also had assistants. And the thing, what it stands out to me is that where the Badgers are recruiting from right now are largely because of the existing ties that Luke Fickle already had. You know what that tells me? Luke Fickle knows how to establish roots in the areas he needs to be to get the recruits. Why are they pulling early from Pennsylvania and some places they don't normally pull from? Oh, it's because that's where the coaches on his staff have roots already.
Yeah.
And now they'll reestablish some roots in the state of Wisconsin. I love his plan in the state of Wisconsin.
And hopefully he continues to, keep those roots. Hopefully he keeps some of those out-of-state connections so he can still steal away, the best Illinois recruit or the best Pennsylvania or Ohio recruit. That's all going to be good things for the Badgers. The fact that we've got kids in the transfer portal trying to come here to play with Luke Fickle, that should give you more optimism than anything.
844-770-3776. Are you worried at all about Luke Fickle and recruiting the state of Wisconsin? Let's hear the clip from Chris Orr. And to be fair, he did say this and has responded to by Tom Oates on Twitter, basically saying that Chris is missing the point. I want to add even more context because Chris and I had a big, long conversation. You listen back to that, Wisconsin On Demand, Apple, Spotify, and those great places, brought to you by our good friends at Revive Restoration. You have home or business damage, go to revivepros.com. Revive Restoration can help you out. Let's hear from Chris Orr.
Hey, this is ridiculous, first of all. Upgrade the out-of-state recruiting. Honestly, if I went year from year from just my time here, and the best player on our team outside of 1 year, outside of our 2016 year, where TJ Watt was the best player on our team, the best player on the team was an out-of-state guy. It was an out-of-state guy. The greatest Badger of all time, one player that we put on the highest pedestal is an out-of-state guy.
The person people chime in because we're not having that discussion is Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor!
Also out of state.
All right, and this is the other thing. Listen here, bro. I love being a Wisconsin Badger. I love the University of Wisconsin. I'm going to be a Badger till the day I die, bro. And even after that. For you to talk about the care of a program, you think somebody cares less about a program because of where they're from? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So you think that these guys, that are from Wisconsin, that go somewhere else, care more about Wisconsin than where they go? You think I care more about UT, my parents' alma mater? I hate them. What are you talking about?
So I'll let you go first there, Matt, as you want to respond a little bit. I think Chris Orr is calling in. And what I'm doing right now is actually I'm bringing up the roster of the Badgers' arguably best season when they won the Orange Bowl. That was a heck of a season from the Wisconsin Badgers. And I'm looking through it right now. But, I mean, you're talking about Kendrick Pryor, Illinois. A.J. Taylor, Missouri. You're talking Chris James, who was a running back on that team. Pittsburgh. Danny Davis, Ohio. And then Bradrick Shaw, who contributed. Alabama. Obviously, Joe Ferguson is a Wisconsin kid. Oh, Jack Cohen, the freshman quarterback on that team. He was from New York. Let's get Chris Orr. Chris, we're talking about the team that the Badgers won the Orange Bowl with, and, was full of a bunch of guys who weren't from Wisconsin, so clearly they hated the Badger program and just played here out of spite. Right, Chris?
Yeah. Apparently, we just wanted to play here just because, we loved football, but not the program at all. Nobody endured through anything for the program, for that Motion W. I don't know. I just feel like Tom's take was horrible. I'm still want to know what he was trying to get to. When people think of build a fence around the state, that just means, obviously, ideally, your top players from Wisconsin, you don't want them to leave. You want them to come and play at the University of Wisconsin. If they so happen to still leave anyway, you want to replace them with somebody, no matter where they're from, of the same or better talent. That's all it is. You're going to have pride no matter where you go, because that's where you spend the next 4 to 5 or 3 to 5 years of your life every day. You're going to have pride in that. Your teammates, no matter where they're from, you create bonds that are literally inseparable. I have bonds with people that I didn't even play with at the University of Wisconsin, who are from Wisconsin or not from Wisconsin, who the only reason we have a relationship is because we both played ball as Badgers. I just think it's a horrible take. I think that, obviously culture comes from your leadership. Obviously you're going to have pride in the program when you put your body on the line every day for that place. Like that's literally what everybody does. That's what you do no matter where you go. Had I been from Wisconsin and gone somewhere else, guess what? I would have had pride in that place. I probably would have hated Wisconsin. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Let's play the quote from Tom Oates. This was on Wilde and Tausch on Friday, because we'll get to it in a second. And, I think Tom's point was don't ignore the state of Wisconsin. And I think it just got a little bit overblown in this, because I don't think Coach Fickell is ignoring the state of Wisconsin, nor do I think that recruiting just the state of Wisconsin is a way to win. And remember, some of the biggest recruits for Wisconsin, as a few people chimed in, Jeff and Janesville and others, would say that they were walk-ons, which are guys that they're not getting scholarships anyways. We don't know what the walk-on guys that Luke Fickell's going to bring in here. I don't think they're ignoring Wisconsin. I think it's people getting, what's the word here, where you're just all of a sudden afraid of outsiders. And like almost xenophobic right now. That it's like, oh my God, someone not from Wisconsin is recruiting Wisconsin, and he didn't get the Wisconsin players, so he must hate all Wisconsin players. Let's hear from Tom Oates.
Yeah, I think if Luke Fickell can upgrade the out-of-state recruiting, it would be great. But I don't think Wisconsin can ever lose sight of the fact that over the last 30 years, and even prior to that, when this program was really good in the early 50s and early 60s, that it's the backbone of this program has always been Wisconsin players. And I don't just mean their football ability. I mean the work ethic.
Hey, this is ridiculous. First of all,
and the leadership,
upgrade the out-of-state recruiting.
What's going on there?
The caring that they bring to this program creates the culture, and it's been a culture that's worked.
And Chris, I think that's the part initially when Tom Oates said the backbone of the program. Yes and no. I mean, if you look at the 2017 Badgers, arguably maybe the best Badger team in a long time. They went 13-1 and won the Orange Bowl with Paul Christ. That team, most of the star players were not from the state of Wisconsin. the state of Wisconsin is very important. I think the bone, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Chris, the bone you have to pick with Tom Oates' statement is, and you kind of touched on it before, the idea that out-of-state kids don't care about Wisconsin and won't bring the character that Wisconsin kids are because they're from out of state.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, and that is a ridiculous statement. That's wild. I went over 20 hours away from home, and I'm still here because I love this program. I love this place. This is where you become a man. This is where you become an adult. This is where majority of your life choices flow from. Like, literally, you can't erase that. There's not going to be erased. You're going to have pride in that. No matter what, whenever I'm watching the Badgers now that I'm not suiting up and putting that motion W on the side of my head anymore, I'm always betting on the Badgers. I'm always cheering for the Badgers, no matter what. I don't care what. It doesn't even matter what the circumstances are. Bucky by a billion. Always.
Exactly, Chris.
Bucky by a billion.
I don't understand where Watts is coming in either, or Tom Oates is coming in. I just, it makes no sense to me. When you get recruited into something like that, you're not necessarily becoming a Wisconsinite, but you are joining like a brotherhood, playing under essentially like a flag or a motion W in this case. Like, once you sign up and you're in, everybody in that locker room has the same goal, and that's win football games and be good. That's going to help the organization as like a whole in general. So like this whole thought that like if you don't grow up bleeding, red and white for Badgers, that you can't come into the Badger locker room and be a Badger is kind of an outrageous statement. Because, Chris, just talking to you, you sound like one of the biggest Badger fans I've ever talked to. And I'm not sitting here saying, like, that guy must be from Mequon. That guy must be from Sun Prairie. Hear how much he likes the Badgers? No way he's from Utah or wherever the heck you're from. You know what I mean? Like, that just makes no sense. You had become a part of this squad. Like, you spent 4 years there.
Exactly. Gosh, exactly. Every day we came in, and as a team, you come in and you work for one goal, and that goal is the national championship. Now, we never got there in my time there, but that was the only objective every year. That's the only objective. No matter where you are, all 128 Division I single A programs have the same objective: go win a national championship. It doesn't matter where you're from. Once you get there, that's the only goal. We're all collectively working towards that. And you're playing through torn whatevers, bruised whatevers, literally for your teammates who are putting on the same gear as you, so you have that same exact pride. I just want to know what he thinks of all of the athletes who are from Wisconsin that didn't go to Wisconsin. I wonder how he thinks they feel. Does he think that they
hate Wisconsin?
Nate Stanley's from Wisconsin and he went to Iowa. You think he still has some pride for University of Wisconsin? No, he probably hates us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's why we folded them in 2019 on the goal line. That's just what it is.
That's why they shortened his neck.
There you go. It's maniacal there from Chris Orr. Chris, we'll hear you tonight with Brad Nortman and Alex Strofe at the Great Dane Huddle, so we'll get more of your thoughts on that. Thanks for calling in, because I heard you were getting a little heated. We put your social, put it up on ESPN Madison, your clip, and you're getting some responses. So you can respond more tonight, Chris. Thanks for hopping on.
I love it. No problem. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you. You know who else was a great Badger and was also a New York Jet? And his son was a Badger from the state of Wisconsin, so he did, was from Middleton.
Yeah,
a good friend.
Keep it within the state.
Yeah, so obviously Nick tried extra hard.
Yes.
It's harder than Chris Orr, clearly, because Chris is from Texas. But no, Olsen Tune. That crew is great.
Absolutely. The crew out at Olsen Tune is definitely top of the line, number one in outdoor living spaces. Since 1997, they have over 50 years of combined experience in their design and management teams, and because of that, they have become one of Wisconsin's premier design, build, landscaping, and outdoor living firms. From landscaping and maintenance to irrigation, concrete work, pools, and more, if you've got an outdoor living need, large or small, Olson Tune is here to help. You can go online and visit olsontune.com and get started on your small business project or home project today. There's no project too big or too small. Olson Tune is here to help. Go check them out at olsontune.com.
We'll throw some stones next. Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Miss any of the show? Find full show podcasts free on Wisconsin On Demand and wherever you get your podcasts.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy.
And I'm Lynn Ozawi.
We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one.
It's Laughter Permitted. Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I'm looking for fuel injector cleaner.
Right now, buy a bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free. Only at AutoZone.
Will it also help with my mileage?
Get everything you need to restore your performance in MPGs.
Get in zone.
Wait, is it good for trucks too?
Whatever vehicle you have, you can find the right products and parts at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you're looking to fill the vacant space in your commercial building, the local agents at RE/MAX and the Preferred Commercial Group are eager to grow your bottom line. Head to commercialwisconsin.com/ESPN and find an investment partner to lead the way to your property dreams today.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America, where vintage racing lives on. Experience the sights, sounds, and smells from motorsport's pioneering age in historic Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Road America's 2023 season offers numerous opportunities to watch vintage race cars take on the iconic 4-mile road course. The WeatherTech International Challenge with Brian Redmond descends upon downtown Elkhart Lake in Road America July 13th through the 16th. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com.
The happy hour at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton is still Madison's best kept secret, so shh. From delicious appetizers to amazing drinks, and of course the ambiance provided by that horseshoe bar makes Ruth's Chris Steakhouse a must-go-to. From cocktails with friends, networking happy hours, or just treating the family, and everything in between. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton has everything you're looking for. So the next time you're looking to treat yourself, go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. And remember, it's Madison's best kept secret. Shh.
Hey Madison, it's Dan Andrews from Simden Chevrolet in Mount Horeb. By now you know that you're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevrolet in Mount Horeb. But what is a better buying experience? It's a car buying experience that is custom to what you want and need. We can be your trusted expert, or we can be hands-off until you're ready to purchase. If you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Chevy truck or SUV, make the short drive to Simden Chevrolet in Mount Horeb and see the difference a better buying experience can make.
I love being an orthopedic surgeon because I can help people improve their lives. My name is Ashish Raval. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Stoughton Hospital and the Ortho Team Clinic. My specialty is sports medicine, focusing specifically on the care of the shoulder, hip, and knee. So the goal for me is always to see patients who want to get back to their active lifestyle. The techniques that I use now allow patients to return back to their activities, including sports, faster than ever before.
Learn more at orthoteam.com.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by X Golf in Madison and Middleton.
I need your love. You got me burning up. I think I'll call you Mrs. Fahrenheit. So eat me alive.
Chris Orr joined the show last segment. He'll be on the Great Dane Huddle later today. If you missed any of Chris's interview. You can listen back, Wisconsin On Demand, Apple, Spotify, any of those great places. Matt Hamilton, and it's brought to you by our great friends at Revive Restoration.
That's right, because nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive Restoration to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. From things like water damage, smoke, fire, mold, storm damage, they have asbestos removal, like all sorts of things. Revive Restoration has your back 24/7. There's no project too big or too small, so the next time you need help restoring your home or business back to its former glory, you can count on Revive Restoration. You can go to revivepros.com to get that whole thing started. Ask for Josh Duggan and tell him Jim and Matt sent you.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light, live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Let's throw some stones.
The guys think they have the answers to everything.
I'm the best there is.
People like me.
So it's time to put them to the test.
That's some booty, Jim.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jim.
Yeah.
Get out of my ear in the break, would you? While the intro's playing?
Sure.
Thanks. It is time to throw some stones here on Rutledge and Hamilton. Jim's just dissing me in the break, telling me I'm off my game. I already know who won today, so why are we even playing? NBA Summer League is underway, fellas. And Victor Wembanyama, man. Game 1, little rough, 9 points. Game 2 last night, I watched it. 27 points for Wembanyama, who had a slow start. Only had 3 in the first quarter, I think. Are you subscribing to the Victor Wembanyama hype, or is it too early to tell that this guy will be as much as we've hyped him up in year number 1? Because it's just Summer League, Matt.
Yeah, it is just Summer League, but I am totally bought into this hype. I truly believe that this guy is going to be like this next LeBron James, version of LeBron James. He's going to be like Giannis. He's going to be the next European star who comes over and just takes basketball by storm. It's going to take him a couple years to fully develop. I think the kid's like 19 right now.
And 7'5" is going to take some to fill in.
He's got to fill into that kind of lanky body right now, but man, is the potential for something great there. He can shoot from the wings. He can take it down low. He's got the size to do whatever he needs to do anywhere on the court. This guy is going to be a superstar, and I have bought into the hype.
I agree. I mean, the first Summer League game, let's not forget he's coming off the controversy with the Britney Spears thing. It's his first game. Everyone out there, if you don't know what the Summer League is, just for the casual NBA fan, it's mostly a collection of dudes that won't play in the NBA at all. And then you got some young guys out there who are trying to make a name for himself. You know how you make a name for yourself? Push around the next can't-miss kid. There's no following out. And then you have a mix of some older guys in there. And Victor, I think, a little bit overwhelmed the first time, but he bounced back. In fact, he showed some real flashes of what he can be. Him with a pick and roll and his jumper, which you can't stop at 7'5", he could pick and pop all day and you're cooked. I mean, I don't even know if Giannis can get to that shot, even at his height, because at 7'5" and the way he shoots it, it's like Kevin Durant.
That's
shot,
his comp.
Yeah,
it's Kevin Durant, but he's
damn
5
near
inches taller.
damn near impossible to stop that jumper, let alone 7'5". So you just have to remember what the Summer League is, and as long as Victor can stay healthy, he'll be in good shape. But even if Kevin Durant gets hurt in that lanky body, but you would still happily have taken Kevin Durant number 1 in any draft. So if he turns out to be Kevin Durant, and that's where I think it's that sort of career, I think you're in pretty good shape.
I think you're totally right, and obviously it's way too early to crown him like that, right? But I have never gone out of my way to watch another team other than the Bucks play Summer League. I have watched 2 Spurs Summer League games this weekend. And now Wemby report says he will be shut down the rest of Summer League.
Well, and the other thing that he's got going for him.
I'm going to be honest with you. I am going to be very interested when the Wemby 1 drops. Like, he's going to get a shoe deal, and
I know what it is.
I am definitely looking forward to it, because this guy, I really do think he's going to make a crazy impact in the NBA. It's going to be fun to watch.
I think he already has, which is wild to say, because he hasn't played an actual NBA game yet. But
Pop just signed an extension.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, Pop wants to be a part of this,
But that's so good for Wemby.
5-year extension. Gets one of, if not the greatest, one of the greatest head coaches in NBA history. to coach him up for at least 5 more years.
Yeah. Someone who's dealt with foreign prospects before and just absolutely gotten the best out of them.
And Pop might just be handing it off to Becky Hammond in the long run.
Yeah,
and
you
she
might be
could
right
take
about
over.
that.
Yeah,
let her go do her thing with the Las Vegas Aces for a few years. Won a title last year in the WNBA. We'll see. The other thing with Wemby is, and I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but I told Jimmy this earlier in the office, so I'd like to repeat it here. I was watching the first quarter of the Spurs game last night, and I thought to myself, where is it? Like, I haven't seen it yet. I know he has it, because there wouldn't be all this hype around him. But I haven't seen it yet.
That was my favorite part. Everyone's like, oh, he's done. Oh, so you saw him play for 5 minutes, so you know more than all the NBA scouts.
That's not what I'm saying.
Not
at
you.
all.
I'm just saying that there were a lot of
But
people.
I'm just like I think he checked out with like 3 points, 5 minutes into the first quarter. They were only playing him in short spurts, and I was like, I haven't seen it yet. And then the second quarter rolled around. I go, oh, okay, there it is. And like his first game was impressive, but it wasn't wild off the charts, right?
Yeah.
Like I could actually make the argument through Saturday. I was more impressed with Marjon Beauchamp.
Yes.
And then I watched Wemby last night. And I go, oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. yeah, okay. So wow, I'm blown away by him. Hey, how about this guy, Tim Tebow, bringing minor league hockey to Lake Tahoe. Tebow will own and operate a minor league hockey team in Lake Tahoe. Beginning within the next 2 or 3 years, it looks like. Tim Tebow, an interesting case. What former athlete would you like to see fund a professional or semi-professional sports team in the state of Wisconsin, Jimmy?
Oh, goodness.
Good question, isn't it?
It is a good question. I'll go with...
Point to me.
Just a name that comes to mind. I'll go with J.J. Watt and him funding bringing a women's professional soccer team to the state of Wisconsin. His wife plays, so it makes sense. So I will go with that one.
Great poll.
Ooh, interesting. I would like J.J. Watt was also what I was kind of thinking, but now that we're
let's go with TJ.
I'm gonna switch it up. I want to see Chris Orr bring a national curling circuit to Wisconsin. A curling team. I want a national curling team in Wisconsin.
What does Chris Orr have to do with curling?
He's just a big fan of mine. Big, friend of show, friend of mine, just really supportive guy. That's who I would want to start a league, and I want it to be curling.
That made as much sense as this random text we got from the 608 that just says Jay Cutler.
Smoking Jay Cutler.
What about him?
I don't know. It just says Jay Cutler.
All right, Mike. Appreciate the text, man.
Thanks for listening.
Cool.
It was always going to be Matt.
Sorry, Jimmy.
Matt's the winner today.
Must have been that sweet curling content.
It's definitely that.
Yeah, you want to talk. You want to talk about impropriety here. Goodness, you tried your best to lose that one. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, and we can prove it. Follow the show on Twitter at Jim and Matt.
Jim Rutledge here to tell you about X Golf Madison, and the most important thing that you need to know is that X Golf Madison is for everyone. I golf there. Whether you're a seasoned pro, a new golfer, or in between like me, X Golf Madison is going to be fun for you. They have a full bar, excellent service, great food, and the most advanced and accurate golf simulators in the world. You can play one of their 50 courses available, take lessons from a PGA pro, hit the driving range, or even join a league. Stop by their East Madison or Middleton location today, or visit them online at xgolfwisconsin.com.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. That means the best place to look at for a new Bronco, Ford F-150, Ford Edge, Ford Escape, Ford Explorer, or any other Ford, including service on your Ford, is Metro Ford of Madison. Browse their inventory at metrofordofmadison.com.
Legacy Exteriors. Just pick up the phone and let us leave a legacy on your home. Roofing, windows, gutters, siding, and decks. Can Legacy do it? You bet. Better prices, better warranties. Legacy always makes it easy. Go to legacy-exteriors.com. Legacy Exteriors. Just pick up the phone and let us leave a legacy on your home.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. Help us celebrate 90 years in business by visiting us at 220 State Street. We've been a part of a lot of great moments, and we want to add to those special occasions. Our staff is here to help you make that perfect selection for your memorable moment. Come see firsthand why Goodman's Jewelers has withstood the test of time and why we're truly a destination worth reaching. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store of Madison, and a whole lot more. Goodman'sJewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Goodman's Jewelers has been providing the sparkle to Madison since 1933. That's a lot of great memories. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. We've been caring for generations of customers, and during that time our strengths have been trust, service, and selection. Those traits are who we are, and that will never change. Goodman's Jewelers, a destination worth reaching. 220 State Street, Goodman'sJewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Aubrey Schlimgen here, your 2023 Dane County Fairs to the Fair. The 2023 Dane County Fair has a full lineup of fun-filled entertainment and activities. Celebrating our 173 years, the Dane County Fair is putting on an exciting fair with daily free entertainment that includes Paul Bunyan lumberjack shows, stingray encounters, and magical bubbles. We have a week full of some amazing musical entertainment as well. The Dane County Fair runs July 20th through the 23rd, and gates are open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. For more information, visit our website, danecountyfair.com.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Until you toe to toe, I should be scared, honey, maybe so. But I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive, 1999 heroes. I ain't worried about it right now. Swimming in the floods, dancing on the clouds below. I ain't worried about it.
Mr. NBA Matt Hamilton, King Troll House of D chimes in. He wants to be high up on the Marshawn Beauchamp bandwagon. We did start the show talking about Marshawn Beauchamp, so King Troll House of D, I think you got to join our bandwagon because we started the show with that today, with the Marshawn Beauchamp bandwagon talk.
I got to give him credit. He's been pro Marjan for a while.
I was
scroll
asking.
back.
I asked Eric Name about Marjan and how much
but we all
more
have been pretty
time
pro.
he was
Oh,
getting.
for sure. We all loved the pick when it happened, but.
And I mean, I
House of
was
D's
hoping we were going to see a little bit more of him last year, and then Eric Name told me why exactly. Young guys don't have experience playing 80-some games, so that this is going to be Beauchamp's first year after having an 80-plus game season under his belt. So.
52 games for him last year. But
Right.
your point, I mean, he was around. He was
he was around for the whole season. Like, obviously, he didn't get in every game, but like that was double the amount of games he's played at most in a regular season in his career.
Can we talk for a second? This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light, live from the Everlight Solar studio. Well, one...
No, we can't.
Budenholzer, like I care at all what you have to say. So Budenholzer clearly doesn't really like to play younger players. I mean, Beauchamp didn't really crack the rotation much. 52 games, 13 minutes a game. He showed flashes. He's still not going to have a massive season.
Right, yeah.
If he doubles what he did last year and scores 10 points a game and 4 rebounds and 2 assists and a steal, that's amazing. Like that is really going to set the Bucks up for future success. And I don't think that's crazy to say for Beauchamp next year, but I don't want to go too crazy on it. But looking at the roster, guys, we'll just talk for a couple minutes on this. But I'll ask the question, 844-770-3776. The Bucks bringing everyone back but their coach. Is that an indictment of Budenholzer? Because I kind of looked at the roster and said, this ain't the problem. The coach is the problem.
To a point.
Yeah, I mean,
what do they do?
100%. Like the head office clearly said that the issue was not the players, it was coaching. When you bring everybody back and expect to run it back when you had, like, what? You're out to that Miami Heat in 5, 6? 5, right? Like, so, like, yeah, you clearly said, hey, Coach Bud didn't have it. And when your only major switch is your coach, yeah. They sent a clear message to Bud, whether they intended to or not, that they're like, you had the pieces, you just didn't put it together.
Absolutely. And Beauchamp could be one of those pieces that, I mean, you couldn't throw him into the playoffs. You didn't play him enough throughout the year. And maybe he wasn't the guy, but I mean, you could have played him more, is one example.
You play him more, then it takes a little pressure off Middleton, keeps Middleton fresher.
Javon Carter is a favorite hobby horse for a lot of Packer fans, and he got a fair deal from the Chicago Bulls as their backup point guard, but he wasn't used a lot here in Milwaukee. And I think that got some Bucks fans upset as well because he can knock down some threes. They did bring in they brought in Beasley on the bench, and they brought in Robin Lopez is just a deep depth piece. And,
yeah, he's gonna be there as a complimentary piece.
Yes, it's not.
Someone needs some wind.
It's
throw
not
him in.
You know, he might have the Marshawn Beauchamp stat line from next. 52 games, 13 minutes in those 52 games. Like, I mean, he might not play a lot, but Beasley is a real pickup. I feel like Beasley swapped out for Grayson Allen and will be the end solution there, that they'll use Grayson Allen and his expiring contract to try to get a player that could be more of a ball handler behind Drew, because they don't really have anyone that's a true backup point guard right now.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a place, but I think Beauchamp and Coddington and all these players are going to get more playing time. And so it, to me, just looked at it and said, this is a Budenholzer problem, who, oh, by the way, was at Summerfest this weekend.
Was he?
There was, or maybe it was last weekend. There's some people posting photos of Budenholzer at Summerfest on social.
I wish I would have run into him.
Yeah, they ran into him. They took some selfies with him.
I've been there the last 2 weekends.
Enjoying some Coors Light?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Saw the band Saliva on Saturday. Are either of you familiar with who that is?
Nope.
Did you see Earth, Wind, and Fire?
I did. I saw them play September.
Excellent.
So tell us about Saliva.
I'm just curious if either of you were familiar with the 2000s rock band Saliva.
No.
Nope.
Click, click, boom. Does that ring a bell?
No.
All right.
Well, how was it?
Terrific.
Was
we
it
put on a great show.
Boom.
Okay.
You watched the whole thing?
It was a 4 o'clock show, so it was only like 50 minutes.
Okay.
But, yeah, like last week when I saw Earth, Wind, and Fire, I only caught the one song. I just luckily timed it out perfectly.
See, the problem is you see some of these bands who are like, you only know as a one-hit wonder, and they're really tough. Like, for example...
I totally agree.
So we saw, and, the kids know Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. We saw them a few weeks back. But, like, whether you like the music or not, they cranked out, like, probably 7 songs
Right.
And so it's like, all right, well, at least they're... Like, I remember I saw Verve Pipe. They performed there, and their song is Freshman. That's basically it. So the rest of them, like, this kind of stinks. And you're just waiting around for freshmen. Like, that was we were merely freshmen to play there. But this last weekend, what I did, and we're all going to do this tomorrow, a little change of plans. We're all going to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to do, well, not me and you. Stroff isn't coming.
Oh,
hey!
But we're gonna do the show 2 to 4 out there, and then Scalzo and Bruss are gonna follow us out at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. So if you want to stop by and say hello to Mr. Matt Hamilton or Benny Bruss, you can do that. So Rutledge and Hamilton and Scalzo and Bruss will be at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton tomorrow. I was there on Saturday. My wife and I kind of celebrated a little bit of an early anniversary. Our anniversary will fall next month. But
Congratulations.
Yes.
Happy anniversary to both of you.
Well, again, mine's early. We're just going to be on vacation with the kids during our actual anniversary time. It just so happened that the week we can get this cabin year after year is always right on our anniversary. So I said, let's just go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse a little early and do our own little dinner. So we did that on Saturday night. I cannot recommend it enough. Like, I know Ruth's is great. I talk about the happy hour all the time. But, I mean, so I had a Nola Mule. Mules are always good, and my daughter's name is Nola. And Ruth's Chris has its start in New Orleans.
Yeah, okay. I was going to ask if that was like a New Orleans. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
So that was good. My wife had a pomegranate martini and then had the jumbo shrimp. Good God. Just like when you have shrimp that is like homemade cocktail sauce, Matt, which I know you appreciate.
Oh, yeah.
And you can, everything just tastes a little better. Then we had watched The Bear a couple episodes before we had gone out, and you see, which is a show on Hulu about how much care they put into prepping things at like a higher end restaurant. And so that was kind of in my head. And I'm like, God, this jumbo shrimp is just everything about this place was cared for. So then we got the porterhouse to share, which is 40 ounces. So clearly we brought some home. That's a lot of porterhouse. So we got the porterhouse to share.
Sounds like you're a quitter.
But they were brought out on a 500-degree plate. So I like my steak medium rare. My wife was able to cook hers up a little bit to medium, which she's more comfortable with. Amazing. I mean, Young, the waitress, was out there, and she was, putting the butter from the steak, putting it back on top of it, all these small little steps, just making sure that everything was done right. She serves out the first couple steps for us. Then we had a caramel-crusted sweet potato casserole with the pecans on top, too. Oh, God. I mean, every bite, I'm like, I was probably swearing the whole dinner. I can't say everything I said.
Probably just like, I need to go to Carbon.
Right, exactly.
Now.
Exactly. But then we also had some mushrooms prepared there, too, like sauteed in their own special sauce and everything. So an amazing time. Then they brought out cheesecake at the end. It said they wrote a happy anniversary in chocolate and everything. So just an amazing time over at...
Did you let them know it was a month early anniversary?
I told you we're celebrating a little early. It's I think like 3 weeks early. So... you don't have to be a F-lift celebrity like me to have a great time at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. They'll take care of you regardless. I guarantee nobody there knew who I was, but Lee put in a good word. Yes. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Miss any of the show? Find full show podcasts free on Wisconsin On Demand and wherever you get your podcasts. Rah! Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. Following Wisconsin football missing out on the state's top 5 recruits for the class of 2024, Jake Kokorowski of Badger Extra in the Wisconsin State Journal joined Rutledge and Hamilton on ESPN Madison and talked about the Wisconsin football staff's relationship with the 2025 in-state recruits.
They are making strides to bring in, to try to build up relationships within the state. Give it more time to cultivate.
Find the full conversation with Jake Kokorowski on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts.
Pella's window and door design options are virtually limitless. Customize your order by August 31st and you could bundle and save big at PellaWI.com.
Follow the stream to your wild side this summer with a ranch water hard seltzer from Lone River. Inspired by the classic tequila cocktails of far west Texas, Ranch Water's no-frills taste taps into the spirit of an adventure under the high desert stars. Using 100% agave nectar and natural lime juice, the hard seltzer contains 80 calories and 4% alcohol by volume. And you can now try their new margarita-style Ranch Rita. Learn more about locations and flavors at LoneRiverBevCo.com.
Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday at 2:45 for your chance to win a case of the new Ranch Rita Variety Pack from Lone River. Known for the tequila-based ranch water hard seltzer, Lone River's new Ranch Rita tips its hat to another beloved American drink, the margarita. The Ranch Rita is still crafted with the same organic agave nectar and lime juice for that delicious Texas taste. Listen every Thursday at 2:45 for your chance to win.
Ruggability. We straight made that word up. How else to describe the otherwise indescribable rugged, capable, incredible versatility and affordability of a Honda SUV? Car and Driver calls Honda the winningest brand in 10 best history. Your kids will call it totally lit. But we like ruggability, and you'll like the incredifantabulous deals, so see your Wisconsin Heartland Honda dealer today. Honda gets Wisconsin.
Matt Hamilton here for Iron Jock. Believe it or not, being an Olympic curler takes a lot of practice time on the ice. And despite always being cool, I still work up a sweat. That's why I love Iron Jock and their no-stink technology. Silver Iron technology is the how behind why it works, and that is about as technical as I can get with it. What I do know is that if I'm on the ice or just wanting to look good, I know Iron Jock has t-shirts, polos, and hoodies for me. Support this Wisconsin-based company today and get gear at ironjoc.com. That's ironjoc.com.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. Looking for a team to play for in the spring and summer of 2024? Rays tryouts begin in July and August, and sign-ups are open now. Since 2010, the Rays have developed over 370 college players, including over 140 players committed to Division I baseball and 17 MLB draft picks. Rays Baseball. Raise your game.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Carbon World Health.
I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. I only got one thing on my mind.
Alex Strofe here for my friends at Door County Distillery, locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits. I love them. I love the gin. I love the bourbon. I love everything they make. The vodka's pretty solid, too, might I add. Head over to their website, doorcountydistillery.com, to find their great cocktail recipes, sure to be the hit of any summer gathering, as well as the retailer nearest you. And if you're headed up to Door County this summer, maybe taking a little date night up in Door County, make sure to check out the distillery tour and the winery tour in Carlsville. DoorCountyDistillery.com is the website. DoorCountyDistillery.com.
With you. I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. I only got one thing on my mind. You got me stuck on the thought of you. You're making me feel brand new. You're more than a sunshine in my eyes. I got my head out the sunroof.
Legend Jim Rutledge is back.
Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
Would you like to let me in on the joke?
Cannot let you in on the
If
joke.
the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush a Coors Light. We're live from the Everlight Solar Studio. He's Matt Hamilton. I am Jim Rutledge. Get into the show, 844-770-3776. Matt, we asked the question a little bit earlier in the show, our Iron Jock poll question. Do you think the Packers will have more or less wins than last year? The number has skewed now. It is 55% less, 45% more.
I honestly, even if we think Jordan Love's the guy, I hope they have less because I want the draft pick to put around him. Even if I want him to be, if we all think he's going to be great, or if you think he's going to be great as a listener, I am here for that. But I want that Aaron Rodgers season number 1. Put up great numbers. Don't get more than 6 wins max, and get yourself a great draft pick. Start to build around him.
Adam chimes in on Facebook, which is where also this poll question is posted. 9-7-1 is his number. Nick,
we're getting a tie?
I guess so. Nick chimes in with same as last year. Chris chimes in with less, and Jeff chimes in with less as well. So I don't think it'll be drastically less. I just think if we just look at it logically here, you removed, and I feel like people lose their mind about Aaron Rodgers a little bit. You removed a top 10 quarterback, just even off the way he played last year. A top 10 quarterback in the league last year. You removed it from the roster.
Yeah.
You didn't add anything. I could stop there. But, I mean, you didn't add anything. By a landslide, the Packers have spent the least amount of money than anyone on free agencies. You're adding maybe some rookies, but, again, you can't count on rookies to be the steps. And that's it. And then by the way, you let your kicker go. So now you're going to go with a rookie kicker to try to win close ball games.
Well, by the way,
best case scenario, you play close ball games. And by the way, you're assuming 100% health for Jordan Love because if Sean Clifford comes in, it's an immediate loss.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm so befuddled, and I love that word, by the way. I'm so befuddled by this Anders Carlson thing. The guy wasn't even good in college. I just don't understand it. And Jason Wilde pointed out in the State of the Packers, because I brought this up on Saturday too, and he pointed out Mason Crosby also wasn't very good in college. And that worked out.
Yeah, the
just
college
fine.
thing is hard to figure out.
It is, but he sucked outside of 35 yards. I just don't understand how that translates.
So, if I'm not mistaken, I think the college hashes where they kick from, or where you can kick from, if you run a play all the way to the right, you get put on the hash. I think it's significantly wider than the NFL. You could, in the NFL, I feel like the hashes are about the width of the goalpost, maybe a touch more, but college, it feels like it's way wider. The hash marks.
You are correct. They are 18 feet 6 inches wide in the NFL. They are 40 feet wide in college.
So, that's a tough kick, especially, you got to think about whether you're trying to push a kick or pull a kick, right? If you're kicking it with your right foot and you're on the left hash, you need to kind of push it.
Why do you know this?
Well, because it's football things, and I think kicking when you have to, your angle is greater where you could be attacking that goalpost from is harder. Where in NFL, you're pretty much only inside that 18-foot window as opposed to a 40-foot window. So I think it makes a big difference in kicking.
But counterpoint, there are good kickers in college.
100%. And the Packers drafted this kid for his leg, for his potential distance. The guy has an absolute boot. Can he dial it in and bring the accuracy together is what they're asking for.
Are you a big kicking guy or what? Where's this coming from?
No, well, they're not going to pick up a guy who isn't a good kicker.
You're right, but
Well,
I
they
just
think he's
don't
the
get
kicker.
it.
So I guess that's
It's an important position.
Okay, but you could have rolled back out with Mason Crosby if you're rolling with a young kicker and you're trying to win football games. You'd put him back out there. You don't have to draft this guy. There's other kickers with big legs.
Totally.
I get what you're saying.
It just puts more. It puts an exclamation point on this. Like, we're not rebuilding, but rebuilding seasons.
Right.
Like, we're not going to pay Crosby because we can get away with paying a lot less, and we don't think we're going to need the kicker to win games because, in all realness, we would prefer to lose the close one so we could have a higher draft pick. This all plays towards Goody having a better draft pick next year and being able to build this team without fully cashing everything in.
Which befuddles you more, the Sean Clifford pick and making him your backup QB with a kicker? I mean, Sean Clifford, whatever service you're looking at, was essentially dead last or in the bottom 5 as quarterback prospects in this draft. You did not have to draft them. The Packers got taken by someone if they thought they had to draft him to get him. And how bad do you think, again, hubris, how bad do you think every other scout in the NFL and people watching the game are that you think you're smarter than all of them and you have to have this guy in the 5th round when you could have just picked him up as a straight free agent?
Tom Brady was a 7th-round pick.
Right. What was Sean Clifford's pick?
He's a 5th round.
Right. So it's not even apples to apples.
No, no one's saying that Sean
Brady was
Clifford's the
worse.
guy, but I think this still tracks towards the. If Jordan Love gets hurt and Sean Clifford goes in, Goody's like great.
I really hope Sean Clifford somehow evolves into a Hall of Fame quarterback. How goofy
Because my
would
whole
be
point
on,
with
like-
Clifford is like there's not value there for him. Like taking Tom Brady in the 7th round, okay, that's a throwaway pick. 5th round is a valuable pick, a guy who can make a roster. There's no value in Sean Clifford. You could have gotten him as undrafted free agent. Maybe he'll be fine, but you didn't have to draft him there. Again, draft is like stocks, and they overpaid for that stock. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Scalzo and Bruss coming up next.
See ya.